very smart. Irapali Prasana, Gigi Boy and Wadeka, Krishna Murthy and Vishnu Mankad. Them boys could well play cricket on any kind of wicket. They make the West Indies team look so bad. We was in all kind of trouble. Joey Carew pull a muscle, Clive Lloyd get about 3 run out. We was in trouble without a doubt. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Venkataraghavan, Bedi in a turban, Vijay Jaishima, Jayantilal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Kanai really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95, the Indian team they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Rajan Jurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They who tried with Newton Dow, but a shot of the sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Little Desmond Lewis, also Charlie Davis, they take a little shame from out we face. But Sobers as a captain, he won plenty coaching before we cricket end up in a disgrace. Beatty here that he became a father, he catch out Holford in the cover. But when Sobers here, he too had a son. He made duck and went back in the pavilion. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all.
Good afternoon Trinidad and Tobago, good afternoon callers, good afternoon all our listeners on the World Wide Web, good afternoon to our international and local community. My name is Ronaldo Rolox and I'll be your umpire for the evening. The other umpires are either on matters of state and the others shall be here shortly. So just sit tight and they will join in the conversation. And yesterday We left off talking about the issue of crime. Wanting to find out from you, we discussed with you whether you find that based on the evidence, based on the approach in this current administration and others, because we were looking at Trinidad and Tobago and we were asking ourselves, are we serious with crime? Have we been serious in our approach to crime? And what has that been? What evidence do we have to justify that? Then we narrowed it down to the school. We narrowed it down to the school and we were talking about the presence of police officers in high-risk schools as signaled. Hasn't been introduced yet by the baton captain as one of the strategies to deal with crime at a younger level, deal with it at the juvenile stages. And we discussed whether some of you felt that was overkill, whether you think it was necessary, whether you think it was necessary but unplanned and not thought out as yet. So we fleshed out some of that yesterday. But today we want to look at the human side. We want to look at the police officers, the protective services, the Coast Guard, the soldiers, and we have a perennial complaint about how they are resourced. They seem to always be complaining and asking for more resources and better resources to aid. Now, we can't discount the importance of having the right tools for the job, because you could hire a man for a job and not have the right tools for the job, and you would find yourself in a lot of difficulty when it comes to deliver. So we've heard about the firemen and some of the appliances and the condition of these appliances. We've heard from the prison officers and the plight that they face in protecting themselves. Those who are unarmed, after their duty, they are at the hands of the criminal elements and their life is under threat, and their family. They have to go back home, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's father, that's somebody's husband. We hear about the police officers often and some of the vehicle issues and some of the issuance of protective gear and some of the plights they face. Now, we have to remember that these security personnel, these protective services, they are not able to indulge in industrial action. And that is important because when you think about it, all you have is your labor. But for stability, I guess, they are forbidden from indulging in industrial action. So they have to literally complain and comply. Okay, we understand that. But what does that do for you as a person and an individual psychologically? What does that do for you? Are you motivated to give of your best? Are you motivated to perform at your highest standards, given the fact that you feel that you are underprepared? You feel you're not as equipped as you should be to do your job. I mean, we must admit at the same time, not everything about their job calls for physical equipment. So then we have to get into the discussion about how they are managed. Issues that affect their jobs, promotion, that has been a perennial issue throughout all these services. They always end up in court. You have a lot of court matters concerning promotion, fairness of the merit lists, good, publishing of particular documents, some people being bypassed for promotion, and you see accusations of cliquism and favoritism when it comes to some of these things, which for any worker could be quite demotivating. We do understand that, for those who have toiled and been in the vineyard and been on the streets, done the appropriate qualifications and studies, they feel neglected and they feel second class because they have been overlooked for promotion. So we're looking at the protective service worker from all gamuts, and we're trying to determine whether there also needs to be a change. You know, it's easy to say we want more from them and talk about corruption, and we're not talking about that aspect of the service this afternoon. We're looking at them as humans, as individuals, as fathers, as mothers, because we have females, as workers. How are they managed? Are they managed efficiently? Are they managed sufficiently? Are they resourced sufficiently? Would you give your life, or would you risk your life? I mean, many of you all would say he or she sign up for the work. But would you risk your life and give of your life if you have to worry about your family? And who will take care of your family, your medical issues? I don't know. I don't know about their medical plans. I don't know about how they are treated as individuals and the benefits and some of the things that might make their job a little easier, at least mentally, because the risk is high. We admit that. With the crime situation, I cannot undervalue. I will not sit here and pontificate about the details of these protective services, these gentlemen and these women who give their lives either in fire, in Coast Guard, Army, police. You know, we can't really underestimate the service that they do. You know, I don't know any other jobs. Well, there's some others, like maybe the utilities that require you to be on work 48 hours and 72 hours and all these man hours. Security service, they have it as well. But these people play an important role in society. But at the end of the day, they are not AI. They are not machines. They are not robots. So how do we treat with them? Do we treat with them in the way you think we should? Could we do better as a country, as a society, to encourage them, to protect them, and at the same time demand more? Because one goes with the other. One goes with the other. We know to whom much is given, much is required. We understand that. But are they still treated substandard, unfairly, in terms of the job they perform? Are they sent out there as sheep among wolves, hoping for the best, you know, in terms of the crime situation? So we want to look this afternoon. We're going to ask the pavilion, you the pavilion, how do you feel about how we treat our servicemen, our servicewomen? How do you feel we have dealt with them over the years as the crime situation has gotten worse? So if the crime situation has gotten worse, then I think their demands will be more if we're going down that discussion line, and therefore they should be resourced and treated sufficiently and equitably, and maybe more so to do the extra that we want them to do. So pavilion, number is 342-0081, 4665391. Call me, let us have a discussion, give me your opinion. How do you feel about how we have treated with our servicemen and women over the past couple years? You know, tell me how you feel about them. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reynolds. Good afternoon to your listeners. Most definitely, Mr. Reynolds, based on what is required from police officers, they are really undercompensated for what is required of them. But it's more than just that, because it's kind of like a bifold problem, because the training that they ought to receive ought to make them the best version of themselves, proper individuals, in order to enforce the laws in society, right? Some things they will have to do, some things the management of them will have to do in terms of structure and direction. but most definitely they are undercompensated for what is required of them. We as a society can only hope that if they are better compensated, that it will bring out
Better
what is required.
performance. Yes.
Yes, it will bring out the type of performance that is required of
I
them.
agree with you.
But time and time again, we see that these officers go through training for however short period, if it's 6 months or what, and still come out displaying the same actions that they have to enforce laws against, right? And the excuse is that most times is that they're coming from the society. Yes, they are coming from amongst us in the society, but the training program ought to change how they approach things. And it's not supposed to be that because you come out of the society, it gives you an excuse to act a certain way. As I say, they need to be properly compensated, especially in the event of an odd situation. Odd meaning old age, so when they get old, they will be taken care of. Disability, if it's by accident or illness, and also death, right? It has to have something in place that benefits these individuals because of the risk that they take daily, right? But I'm saying officers, the people who manage the officers, need to have a better structure in place and some proper direction as it relates to the officers, because we asking for a lot from you all, right? Yes, but you all have some responsibility to earn some of what you want as officers, right? You have to carry about yourself a certain way. You cannot be getting emotional on the job. A number of different things, but that only comes with proper training and proper application of that training. The moral of the officers can go up, yes, if they are properly incentivized for the job that they are doing, but it must be balanced. So, because we can't be paying you plenty and getting a little bit. There must be some kind of balance and some kind of measured way of, okay, when you achieve this level, right, then you benefit from this. You achieve this next level, you're able to benefit from that. And probably we could see some benefits for the entire nation if these things are balanced out properly.
Okay,
but
caller.
I believe that they are really undercompensated.
Thank you for your honest opinion. Thank you for your encouragement for these hard-working officers. Yes, the caller has given a balanced view that, you know, they need to be better compensated. However, commensurate with that compensation will be responsibility and will be high demands in terms of high performance. How is that measured? The jury is still out. You know, there are a lot of things about policing that we figure we know, we think we know, but maybe in fact we don't know. But continue to engage the pavilion. You tell me, you've been out there in the society. How do you feel about how they've been treated? Our servicemen, our servicewomen, the prison officers, the fire officers. You know, I cringe when I hear them on Morning Edition or different little programs having to ask for tools. You know, it's not like other workers, you know, you can't bring your own gun from home and bring your own vest and bring your own fire truck. You know, you can't bring some of these specialty equipment, most of them. You can't bring your own vest. You have a vest home, you borrow it. It doesn't work like that. So these officers that serve us need to be properly outfitted by the employer, by the state, so that they could perform. Call me 342-0081 466-5391 and tell me how you feel about, you know, historically what has been their plight in the public in treating with the crime problem, because it is easy from an outward perspective to sit down and look in, to judge. It's easy to say what he or she should have done and you feel they could have done and the police ain't reached yet, and I mean that's easy. I know we do have a lot of expectations. They do have a job, they do have a role to play, and we want to make sure that they do that. So we're not making excuses this afternoon, but we're looking at it from a human side. We're taking the humanistic approach, you know, so that we can craft a remedy, so we can make suggestions into how we better improve relationships between our servicewomen and men and the society. How are their domestic lives? What do they suffer from? You know, what happens when they are absent from home, protecting another home? So much. What happens to their own? What happens to their own families? What happens to their own children when they're out arresting or protecting somebody else's child? You know, it's let us hear. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. Well, there's so much to say, I just don't know where to start. But one of the things that hurt me most is hearing somebody die from a fire and the firemen watching. I saw in one of the papers some young man died because they had no whatever. How could they? But what I'm saying, why there is all this deficiency they have in police and fire and all the systems. Why is it allowed? Why is people going like it's normal? Why I have to put on an old vest or old pants and do work? And this is for years, not that you do it for a day and something will happen tomorrow. Or it will get better. It can't. Why is it going on so long? Children dying in fires, people dying because of lack. And my thing is, everybody's in a parade. We are going to have emancipation. We have millions of people will be in their emancipation outfits. We have an independence where we'll be jumping up independence or marching or whatever. Why? Shouldn't have no march. Shouldn't have none of that. Because I can't see those things are going on normally. And this is years we are talking about. But why do we accept it?
Good question.
Good
question, caller. Good question. And you know, we're going to have Independence Parade soon. You know, and everything is going to be on show.
And don't forget emancipation.
Yes. Well, I'm talking from the view of the protective services and all the fire truck.
Well, the protective services not jumping up in emancipation too. What I'm saying is Christmas. They are connected right through.
Yes.
They are not just to fight fires and stand up with the hose.
Yes.
They enjoy. They enjoy life like everybody else. They go into so they don't go to Emancipation Parade. They don't have all I'm saying, all the jolly is having Carnival, Christmas, Emancipation, and every man now getting the suit ready. Okay? Every man just getting the suit ready for those occasions. So I'm saying, why do we accept it and then parade like it's the norm? Why? You have not counted deaths over in fires and, well, I wouldn't go by murder. I would leave that there. But I mean, you know, the things that they could help, the things that could be prevented.
Okay. Thanks for your contribution.
But that's all I
thanks
have
as
to say.
usual.
We too can accept.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
So the caller is, should we have a next call? Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, I think you look at the protective service in broad terms. Look at the thing about it is that, yes, the police service, there are a lot of issues with respect to recruitment, how you recruit police officers? Are you recruiting the best? The question of training. Are you the training, again, fit for purpose? In the sense that are you giving them the requisite training that is required at this point in time? The question of promotion. Yes, we talk about nepotism and favoritism and all these things within the service. We looked at the number of matters or claims going before the court for judicial review.
Correct.
As regards promotion, and people who felt that they were victimized and probably they were passed over by other, and that these things are real concern. It's not a matter of manufacturing. That is real.
Yes.
And the question of discipline. I think I don't know if I mentioned that before. And yesterday I spoke about 1,300 cases being dismissed in 1 year because the police not attending matters before the court.
Yes.
Right? So all these things, and again, we look at the cost to the state, because when they don't go to court and the matter is dismissed, and you may have persons bringing civil action for malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, and those matters, and the court awards millions of dollars to the defendant. So these are the things that they must address. That training college, again, I don't want to go into too much detail. They have to reform that. And if you look at the prison service and all these things, the question of whether they're under-resourced, yes, it's a fact. And the prison officers have been talking about the condition under which they have to work. Right? Poor conditions within the prison, not just for the prison officers, but the prisoners. And how could you have rehabilitation taking place in such an environment? They talk about vehicles. They talk about, and that is for the police also, what they call breast cam or whatever it is. All these things. The fire service, no vehicle. All that for the under-resourced. And something has to be done in order to have those matters dealt with. So I hope that the government is taking note of those things, and probably it is in their plan to provide these people with the necessary resources so we can have an efficient and effective service. I won't take too much of your time. That's it for me.
Thank you, caller, as usual. Very informative caller. Very informative. He has analyzed it across the board, citing the deficiencies and getting into more some HR issues, and our HR experts should be here. When they are here, those umpires will be here, because training, recruitment, all those are serious issues plaguing any sector, but they have a more pejorative effect in the security service and the protective services. You could have, you might have a bad or errant wasser worker or teacher or anything, anyone, but an errant police officer is very different. It's very, 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 very different. But again, the caller did reiterate and emphasize things that I talked about how they are managed, how they are trained. Is the training sufficient for the 2025 issues? Are we doing the same thing? So those who left the barracks last year and those who left 30 years ago or 20 years ago, are we doing the same work? Are we using the same manual? Are we using the same methods? Because the society has changed. The criminal elements have adjusted. The types of crimes have changed. The sophisticated nature of these crimes have changed. But have we made the appropriate adjustment in response to these issues? Or are we doing policing and crime fighting and protecting just as we did it before? So we really have to look and examine in depth how we treat with these workers. Are they motivated? Are they really motivated, or are they out there for the elements every day, wishing and hoping and praying that they get back home safely? Wishing and praying that if they do their jobs correctly, the criminal reprisal will not manifest itself? Do they have that type of network where they look out for each other and protect each other even outside? How do they respond to each other and their families and their loved ones, because they have families too? So really and truly, can we get the best from these workers as is? A simple thing like somebody not working for 48 hours or 72 hours straight. Is that a productive worker? Is he productive carrying a firearm? Mentally, is he drained? We have to ask ourselves some serious questions, and we are going for a drinks break soon. But after the break, please call me 342-0081, 466-5391, and tell me how you think we have been doing. What is our scorecard in treating with the members of our protective services? What is our record in treating with these men and women of service who, I would say, assume a great risk in their daily jobs, in their daily lives? And normally risk is associated with compensation. Again, the HR experts are not here to guide us on that, but when they do, normally risk and compensation go hand in hand. They are, one is a product of the other, meaning the higher the risk, the better your compensation. At least that will also make sense logically. But how do we treat with these servicemen? They can't come out and complain. They can't openly show dissent or disgust. They can't go on the street and burn tires like us. They can't block roads. So it's really interesting to see or to think about, how do they show their disagreement? How do they show their dissatisfaction? What can they do? What channels and avenues are there for them to express their unhappiness with the state of the country first, the state of the sector, and the state of their respective ministries? Does the gag of discipline and the threat of indiscipline and disciplinary action do more harm than good when we try to muzzle these workers, when we try to muzzle these servicemen and servicewomen who give up their lives every day? How are they managed? How are they treated with? These are some of the concepts and discussions we will have after we go for the drinks break. So far I am alone here, and the lone umpire, so I guess I will have all the drinks myself. I will try not to overdo. See you right after the break.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way
responsibly.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MCDU. And
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Street 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
When your corporate event needs more than just food, it needs an experience, a Michelin experience. From mouth-watering buffet spreads to beautiful packed takeaway boxes, the Michelin Experience Limited delivers more than just wheels. We deliver flavor. We deliver satisfaction. We deliver excellence straight to your boardroom. Whether it's a conference, board meeting, or a retirement function, go beyond basic. Go bold. Go Michelin Experience Limited. Call us now at 1-868-474-2250 or follow us on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean H-U-T, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get one large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with 2 large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
Come shop at the biggest African market in the Caribbean with its African-inspired art, craft, jewelry, clothing, books, delicious food. We're at the Queen's Park Savannah, transformed into the Lidjasu Omuale Emancipation Village for the 2025 Pan-African Festival TT, commemorating emancipation, July 25th to August 1st. Also, enjoy jazz, pan, calypso, reggae, dance, drumming, bois, art exhibits, and for the children, the African Heritage Camp and workshops. The village opens 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free admission before 3 p.m. Just $40 after. Kids under 12, free all day. Bring your family, your friends, your vibes, and let's celebrate the 187th anniversary of emancipation, our heritage and future together. The Emancipation Support Committee, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice.
This summer, give your child skills of a lifetime with several boot camp. Children between the ages of 5 to 17 come enjoy Children Iron Chef Competition. Your child will learn to prepare healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, CPR, first aid, and conflict management. With field trip, your child will be given free apron and certification upon completion. Call 492-7397 or 336-4935. Institute of Health and Fitness Company Limited, located at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna.
For the month of June, registration will only be $50 to book your space, and you can pay the tuition fee before the start of camp.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast, heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m.
to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street, 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079 or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
United together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other. Help one another, pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Tell my people, gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. When Africans gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our families, rebuild our families. Let us stop killing each other, each other.
Really want to focus on these protective services, these guys that protect us. And I'm reading from a Guardian article here, the 25th of June it was, where the president of the Prison Officers Association, Gerald Gordon, president of the Prison Officers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Gerald Gordon, says the attempted murder of an officer on Friday night symbolizes the country is in crisis. In a media release shortly after the attempted shooting, Gordon posted on social media a call for officers to be vigilant and a reminder to the authorities to protect prison officers. He said, "Let us be clear, prison officers are under attack, and not just by criminals, but by silence, inaction, and the delay of those elected to protect and lead. The association has taken the state to court over the issue of safety and security, a matter that has dragged on for nearly a decade. And yet, even as officers are gunned down, hunted and terrorized, no meaningful change has been implemented. He added, "We recently reminded the government via a formal statement of our support for the former opposition leader, now Prime Minister's call to arm law enforcement officers and protect their well-being. In that same communication, we proposed again the Law Enforcement Officers Safety Act, which offers a structured path to address these systematic failures. But tonight's attack is yet another brutal reminder of time is running." So we're hearing it here, we heard it from the prison officers. They have been under attack. They have been under attack. They've been calling for support. We have the police officers sometimes facing the same plight. What are we doing? Are we doing enough? As I said, are they motivated enough to perform? Is it only a matter of training? Is it only a matter of compensation? The prison officer here he's talking about being able to protect himself and being able to protect themselves outside of work, because even when you take off that uniform, that threat doesn't stop, you know. It's not like school close and you have school the next day and that's it till you go back to school. It's a different job. That threat that exists follows you. It pervades day in, day out. And I was reading somewhere else where some of them prefer to stay in the prison compound just so that their family could be safe and they're not a target going home, and they don't carry home these threats of the criminal elements in society. So Pavilion, let me hear what you think. 3420081. You all have been there, you all have been observing. Are we doing best? Are we doing right by our security officers, by our protective services? Are we really doing what we're supposed to do? Or is it an uphill battle? Has it been an uphill battle for them in terms of their efforts to really give up their best? We're not making excuses. However, we are saying that there may be plaguing issues. And remember, we started off talking that, we started off saying that they cannot protest, eh? They can't protest and come out and talk, you know. They can't sit down on the corner like you and I and talk the boss, you know, and say all that going wrong. Sometimes some of their discussions, I guess, by the very nature of their job, will tell me that they're very sensitive discussions. But we need to hear from you, the Pavilion. We need to hear from you about how you feel we have been treating with the officer, the issue, affecting our security service, the issues affecting our security officers over the years. Have we really been giving them the best effort, the best chance at giving us a best chance? Have your say. 3420081 and 4665391. These officers risk their lives. A lot of them risk it all going out there to face the elements. But they have to go home. They have real homes. They have real children. They have other issues. They have loans, car loans, bills, debts, like everyone else. How have we been treating with them as humans? You know, I see mandates where sometimes their vacation is unilaterally taken. No vacation. Let's hear you. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Good afternoon again. You know, the irony in all of this is if the police operate in the manner that they ought to operate in, a lot of things will fall into place and fall in line, and the work will become easier. You see, it's one thing to identify places and call it hotspots, but have the police really done
Caller,
anything?
you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Or maybe
Hello?
Master Control will come and give us some aid. I'm not hearing you too well, but
I hear you. You're not hearing me still?
we will sort that out shortly. So go ahead and
All
make
right.
your point, caller.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if the police operate in the manner that they ought to, a lot of their job will become easier, right? There is so much things that the police do, right, that really is contrary to what is required of them, that makes the job a lot harder than it really ought to be, right? Because I'm saying to identify a place as a hotspot and not try to go in there and take over the place. Look in the place for persons who are good candidates to become officers, and the officers really have to take charge of the community, right? Deal with the crime resolution, the conflict resolution aspect of it. The police has to be putting on events, engaging the people in the community, you understand, and familiarize yourself with the community, because
Caller,
it
I'm
was.
so sorry. I'm not hearing you at all.
I'll try back when it's out.
Just give me 5 minutes and call back. I'll have Master Control come and give me some remedy, okay? You can hang up and call me right back. Yes, so we were discussing the fact that these issues affect our protective services, they affect our men and women out there, and we are not sure, you know, how they're motivated and what happens, how they're treated. You know, they are humans too, like us. And sometimes your performance at your job is linked to a myriad of factors that influence how you perform. Some people will always ball, but you're getting paid. But that alone doesn't work. If that was so, everybody would perform. If that were true, then everybody who's being compensated in their jobs and remunerated will perform. So there are deeper issues. I want you to call me and tell me about how you think we've been treated with the issues faced by members of our protective services. 3420081. As I say, Master Control will come and do their thing. 4665391. Give me a call and let me hear you give your views. 3420081. 4665391. Call me. You're the pavilion. I just lost a caller. He can call back and he will tell me how. Okay, we have a call. Caller, good afternoon.
Yes, pleasant good evening, sirs. I want to make one statement as it relates to we having respect for the services in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm an ex-member of the service of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. The situation that the fire service is in today should never be so. The fire service, as the members and the administration keep pleading, over 10 years, we haven't purchased an appliance. And a fire service appliance is not a cheap thing. Fire service appliance have all kinds of facilities on it. To do all different type of things on a scene, a risky scene. However, the question you asked is based on we as a society,
yes,
not practicing a philosophy where we give dignity and respect to all life.
Correct.
That's my basic understanding of my society I live in. We don't have respect for life. Hence the reason why we behave the way we behave. We act the way we act. We want to look at one's hair, one skin, one ethnicity, to take somebody as life and have dignity and respect for life. So we have to start looking for a fit up or leaders that will guide us, that we will respect life and give it dignity. Until we could reach there, we will always be the way we segregated, do like this one, do like that one, and look and disparage it. That's my simple answer to the question you asked.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very honest opinion. 342-0081 4665391. The president is on the line. Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, sir. I think that is Ronaldo there.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. And good afternoon to Trinidad and Tobago. And hope that the program is a nice program under God this evening after. Good afternoon, oh God. Truth. Now, I want to start this conversation and I'm trying now to try to be very short and the whole. I in Trinidad and Tobago for 63 years. And to what I observe of my life as an African person, first to begin, is a great amount of disrespect from massa. Now, put it straight as it is, police is massa. Maybe that's the reason they can't protest, so they under the control and the authority of massa. We the slaves, put it that way, or the poor people, does have a problem with that, because in respect that, now, when we ask the society to be pleased or not be pleased if we should give these people a raise or if we should treat them better, who we asking that? Are people who just be disgusted over the police, especially the police. I know we have the army and we have the fire service, but especially the police in this circumstances, because when we're talking about gratuity for wife and all kind of thing, when police there, we're talking about the police. Right. So when we come down to understanding how the police treats the society, we coming down to human rights and human resource situation. Who it is we talking to ask if they should be compensated better? Is the ordinary people who seeing pressure from police, or the criminal who like how it's going on because he benefiting or unless he did? We have a lot of questions to answer here. Yes, it's true. They're doing a big, nice work. They need to be compensated as human, as we said just now. But I'm still asking, who we asking to be so pleased compensating our people that in some respects you don't get proper production from them? In some respects, they produce for who they have to, or who they not have to engage that. It's a lot of things, but all in all, they're doing a very serious work. And if I don't have to put in all them set of clauses that are put in delinquency and all them things, they deserve a better treatment. As all public servants under massa. Because all the talk we talking, all the education we go talk, the problem coming from massa, how he make a system. All of us living under the system, the police getting a raise. I hear the union will be asking for all kind of things for all kind of people. You see the police have a union to do that? No, I ain't think. You see, so let me come down to a reality of, yes, they could get veterans benefits. I appreciate that any working man doing a nice work or doing the work properly should get benefits. But let me ask good question. I can't give you all the questions because they need you alone and I'm looking at your IQ. But that is my thing. And everybody go have something because in 222 we under authoritative. Yesterday you was talking about the principal of a school. And it's plenty things that there's missed people's mind. But when you say that the principal have an authority over in the school, that even police, they put a policeman inside of it. And if he want to do something, he had to go in complementation with the principal, or else the principal will push him out the gate. Look at administration. That is administrativeness.
All right.
So I leave that there for everybody to talk because I was talking best for everybody to have something to talk about. Thank you,
President.
Rolando.
All right. So again, the president has mapped the relationship between these servicemen and the society in saying that some may be very hesitant depending on the experience you've had with the particular individuals to join in the call for better conditions. Well, that doesn't help me, of course, because at the end of the day, we all want to pick up our phones and be able to call law enforcement in times of need. And that is a universal truth. But are they being treated properly and fairly? With all the things that they cannot do, with all the different obligations that we have placed on them morally and what they have to do, etc., etc. Are they being properly prepared? Are they being properly trained? Do you perceive that they are being equipped to go out there? We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Yes, you hear me better now?
Yes, we hear you better.
All right. On the last question you asked, I really don't think that they are being properly equipped to do the task that they have been asked to do. Because firstly, police officers are persons who enforce the law, right? And in order to enforce something, you have to be abreast of what it is. You have to have knowledge of the law. Unfortunately, throughout that 6 months period, I do believe that there is enough time for them to make themselves abreast of the laws, right? That is the first part of it. The next thing is, in relation to the actions of police officers, is what might sometimes hinder whatever call they might have to get better compensation because of how they operate. Because, for instance, what we don't have any law that allows anybody to use their cell phone while driving, right? But every day you will see police officers doing it, and sometimes it's not them alone in the car, right? And based on their body language, you could see that it's not a phone call that is in line with policing, or they're going on a scene or something. And even in that case, there are other persons in the GP who could be on the call. If it's a call pertaining to work, we all have to get information and whatnot. But nonetheless, we still see police officers engaging in that activity, and they have to come and enforce that same law that they are breaking. And next thing too, obscene language. Time and time again, we have seen and heard police officers use obscene language at will, right? And that is a same law that you have to come and enforce against the public. There is something that, leading by example, you just can't be that, right? And if the police officers would take that approach in doing their jobs, then, as I say, a lot of things will become easier for them. People will feel more comfortable to give and pass information onto the police. But as it stands right now, it is very risky, and not much people are willing to take that risk to pass information to the police, because the police haven't developed in such a way where they earn that from the public, right? It have too much issues that we see arising where police have been found wanting, and that in itself it creates a sort of resistance between the people that the police officers ought to be serving and protecting and themselves. And last but not least, before I go, these officers that you see hiding, right, on a daily basis with the intention of issuing tickets, isn't that you rather persons break the law and then ticket them, or you be visible to be a deterrent, right, and try to keep persons in line? I mean, I don't know what method they think is best, but in my opinion, I believe that they should be visible to try to be a deterrent to those who would break these traffic laws, so that you don't have this long set of wasted time on these trivial matters. Really, you could put your efforts into things that really would bring meaningful results to what it is you're trying to achieve, right? If we really want to address this crime thing, they have to look into wearing the body cameras to gain the respect and the trust that is required to carry out the work that they have to carry out. They have to call for help from the National Security Ministry to camera down the public spaces so that they could have real-time feed. If somebody thief a car, they could watch and see what direction they're heading and get that information from whoever is manning the monitors and these kind of things. But it's more than one issue, right? And in order to address the problem, we will have to attack it on all fronts.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, caller. Thank you for sharing your views. The Pavilion, we always welcome your views here on the street. 91.9 FM, the Third Empire. Because our thrust is to have review. Use the technology, roll back the tape, roll it, rock and roll, they say in cricket, just to make sure we have a bird's eye view of any particular problem and situation. And the batsman who, under whose portfolio this falls, has a particular responsibility, and he has come in the wicket with great expectation, I must say. You know, it was said on the trail that he should know better, he should know more, he should do better, he can do better because of his experience, etc. We do know that it is not all the time your profession lines up with your performance. You know, that is a lot of theory, you know. That is a lot of theory. It hasn't always manifested so. And as we've discussed here, sometimes remuneration itself doesn't line up with performance. So it is not, we cannot take it for fact that we increase your pay and you perform better. That correlation may not be correct. But maybe we can say for sure that once you're not compensated sufficiently or you're undercompensated, the chances are you will not perform. You will not perform adequately. You will not perform smartly. And some may even argue that you cannot, as apart from you would not, because of the situations you will now be plagued with and the questions you would have to now answer that really and truly high performers don't have to answer. So let me try. There's another caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon again. Sorry to disturb you.
No, that's all right.
I look at the safety. I look at the prison officer. I'm looking at the safety with respect to the prison officer. I think prison officers today, I think, is miserable lives, you know. They always have to be looking behind their backs.
Yes.
And I don't know. In the same article you read there, you would have seen where in the last 2 decades or so, over 36 or 38 prison officers being slaughtered.
Yes.
I mean, I can't understand. I mean, that's a terrible thing. And I am saying that some effort has to be made in order to ensure the safety and the security of those people, even by issuing the firearm to those people who are threatened. The question again is one where these prison officers may be living in high-risk areas, gangs and all these things. The families, when they leave and they go to work and all that, who's looking after their family, the wife, the children and all that? All these things have to be looked into. So it's not just the money that they're getting and whatnot. We're talking about, could they concentrate or focus on the job? Who is securing them outside? In England or other countries, you have prison officers that are put in special areas. They live in a particular area, all of them. In Trinidad, you have prison officers all about in high-risk areas where the gangs are, and the gangs are holding them to ransom, threatening them and intimidating them and that kind of thing. I think this era is really a bad era, a very terrible era to be a prison officer in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm saying that I don't know what the authorities have in hand in order to address their plight, but I'm saying that something must be done urgently, because he also mentioned where over the last, I think within a year or from 6 months in the year or whatever it is, almost 30 odd prison officers died from different. So you see the stress in the job. The stress. And that state of affairs requires urgent attention. But I don't know if the last regime, they couldn't care. I have to be quite blunt about it. But I hope that this present regime take those matters into consideration. That can't continue. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And reading from an article, the 4th of April 2024, over 26 fire officers have been injured in the line of duty for the year. The Fire Service Association says many more are putting their lives on the line every single day as they attempt to rescue people without critical equipment. How do you rescue people without equipment? You will have to tell me. You're in the pavilion. The association says at this time the service has less than 10 breathing apparatus sets, which are being shared among all stations across Trinidad and Tobago, forcing officers to have to choose between their lives and the lives of those in need. Having to choose between their lives and the lives of those in need. That is a serious choice. That is a serious choice. I mean, I am employed, but I don't even have to make that choice every day. I do not have to choose between my life and the life of those in need. So our fire officers as well have at different times come out and talk about the issues that they've been facing. That's a very sad state of affairs. That's a very sad state of affairs. How do we get the best? We talk about productivity. We talk about a lot of fancy words. I don't know where my HR umpires are today. But how do you get productivity in such an environment? How do you get the highest gain from these type of environments? How do you get that? It's difficult. It is going to be difficult for these gentlemen. Your life or mine. Some of us will say they get the work. Let them do it. But that's a very difficult ask and a very difficult task, to be honest. To be very, 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 very honest. How do we get the best out of these gentlemen? Let's take a call. Caller, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, gentlemen, again.
Good afternoon.
My take on that is that people work when they are better when they are motivated.
Yes.
It is proven that raising someone's salary don't necessarily mean that they get the best out of them, because 6 months after that, that salary comes like nothing. It means that almost every 6 months you'll have to raise someone's salary to motivate them to work. A simple thing like appraisals, right? We have that in the system, but what appraisals are really used for? They have the appraisal system, and normally people just give a mark, and that is the end of that. That should be used to motivate workers. So you get high appraisal, you should be compensated for that. And when people see, like, okay, this worker at the end of his appraisal got a $10 or $20 increase, it motivates other people to do the same. Likewise, sick leave. You don't use up your sick leave, compensate the person for it. Those things help motivate workers. So it's not just one thing, and I do agree with you just saying raise someone's salary. That don't help, because after a year, the salary, it comes like nothing, and they go back to the same system. So they have to find things to motivate the guys, right? And I just give a few examples that will help people, feel appreciated and want to come out to work. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. And you're right. You're right. The equation of better salaries, better worker, is not hold true for everyone. I just wonder, however, if we flip it, can we get a more consistent equation by saying that if you are undercompensated, you definitely will not be motivated to perform. And then therefore that is very, very important. I'm reading from an article concerning the police officers. And somebody from their welfare association. Dixon said officers are doing their best with the resources at hand, but complained that it is becoming increasingly difficult to function effectively with what they have at their disposal. The reality is we continue to be asked to do more and are given less, and we are measured the highest. We are measured the highest. I kind of get emotional when these things happen, but truth be told, police officers are human beings too, and you cannot ask and demand more and give less. To begin with, he said service is short of its sanctioned strength of over 7,800 officers by some 1,400. Coupled with the labor shortage, he said there's ongoing mass attrition daily and monthly. To date, we sit here nowhere closer to absorbing the SRP workers, well, the SRP officers, to enhance the strength of the TTPS so that we could still be more effective in operations. He said that 1,000 additional officers promised in 23-24 never materialized. He said officers are faced with burnout, increasing demands, shortage of equipment. Where the bulletproof vests for officers? Where the non-lethal weapons? Just some highlights of this article. So again, we're seeing where, money aside, okay, we're going to leave that off the table for now. Just the basic equipment. Just the basic equipment for them to do their jobs. Seemingly, and this is not a discussion on whether it be batting or bowling now. We're dealing with the issues. Good. Okay, I see the Mr. President. Good evening again.
All right. I hear Mr. West de Leon. He beat me to the draw because I was really coming in on the
prison officers.
Prisoners officers after, because at least I didn't talk about the police, which also too that the prisoners is as equal as the police. And in respect, I, as plenty of my brothers and sisters out here, we know they have a hard work. We are aware that if you're doing a nice work, you should be compensated. We have no problem with that at all. Now, the prisoners officers, they have all kind of different criminals to deal with. They also have people inside of there that could have come out on a light offense or whatever it is, because they are not criminals as big criminals. Here where the problem is as a roots man, as a ground man. The talk we just talk on the ground is what we have to bring to the educated people. And if I ain't do you nothing, then you wouldn't look to have to do me back nothing. So when a fella getting attacked outside here, it's because he do somebody something, or he ain't come up to standard with some criminal that maybe have a own call out on a one, or maybe do it his own self when he come out. These are the kind of groundwork you have to understand. You have to understand the real understanding of the peasant. How he feel about authority. The authority is massa. When we could protest and look for something, then we can protest. But who causing all the protest conditions? Massa. You imagine Massa ain't want to pay the ordinary public servant. They give them 4%, and if they give them a chance, they give them 3%. But what you think going on with the police officers too? Them is public servants. Who want to pay them? Who want to treat them nice? Asking me if I satisfy is like a waste of time, because I ain't not satisfied with where I get it. But let's just say I'm trying to satisfy with or help them to get what they're supposed to get. So we had to come down to a realizing where these, and I want to put it, jump away from Massa and put Oreos, because Oreos is Massa too, just being under the real Massa. And we problem is the system. We will be talking here nice as we talking, and unless we can put ourselves in a position to deal with it inside of the legislative places, where we could have some voice as an organizing slave people to deal with the matters from quite inside of it. What we doing right now out here psychologically, I'm no all these consultants, I don't know, after all the recording, because I just record. And I just look back at everything all you're saying and see how things could come down. So I'm not talking by guess here. Right? So in real, we have to understand that the system is against we, and we have to put ourselves in position to beat the system. And the only place we could do that is in the governance position. So I will pause there. But the truth is, if that is what we live under, and unless we could beat that, we ended up staying in it. I will pause there, Ronaldo.
Okay. Okay, Prezi. We hear you. Are we as a society, are we managing our protective services efficiently enough to get the results we desire, especially in this time of crime? Are we zeroing in on them? And are we balancing the equation? Are we raising our expectations? Because our expectations will naturally raise when crime is high. But is there a commensurate raise in how they are managed and how we treat with them? Good. We want more from them. That is given. Are we prepared to give more? Have we been given more? Or actually, are we asking for more with less? And I know it may apply to other workers in the public service, but we're not dealing with that because it could be said of all workers. We're not generalizing it. We're dealing with the high risk of members of the protective services in particular. And we're looking at them as a special category of workers because, as you do know, they cannot indulge in industrial action. They cannot do some of the things that we can do in terms of expressing our dissent, our dissatisfaction, our disapproval. And when those avenues are taken away from any worker, any employee, what happens? Think about a worker who has no avenue for redress or feels he has no avenue for redress. What type of worker is that? What type of an employee is that? But let's face reality, given with the security issue, the crime issue, and we're raising this in the context of that we were talking about yesterday, about the high crime, the murder rate that keeps going where it's going. We have a new batsman now who has some type of experience at a high level of administration. Not at the highest, but he would have had a high level of experience and exposure. Are we resourcing our firemen, our Coast Guard? We talk about the Venezuelan issue. Could we run down the Venezuelans to tell you the truth? Could we deal with them? Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon again. I heard you say that well, it's a fact that police cannot protest right? Because they are what we call essential staff, right? Essential service. But the policemen and women, they have families. They have concerned citizens just as us. Why can't we take it upon ourselves and protest on behalf or demand on behalf of these officers if we care about them, as we're trying to do now? Why can't we represent them?
Good question, caller. Good afternoon, caller. Caller, good afternoon. That's a good strategy. The caller talked about, well, they have people with family. They have people with family. And maybe it's a wives association, some kind of a thing can work. I mean, they do have their welfare association who agitates and advocates on their behalf. But sometimes even then, as officers themselves, they are unable to tell the full picture, tell the full story. They're able to tell the full story of what has been going on. So, how are we treating with them? How are we treating with them as humans? How are we treating with them in terms of what we want them to do in 2025, in July of 2025? But that caller who made that point, sorry you got cut off, but that was an excellent point. It was a novel idea. We should not be afraid to discuss new ideas. May or may not work, but I thoroughly respect the fact that you made a new suggestion. You know, they have certain remits as members of essential services. You know, the Industrial Relations Act forbids essential services from being involved in industrial action. And while that might be so, and maybe one will argue rightfully so, for stability, for law and order, and all the good things, there are obviously many things that we lose and they lose by not being able to show and express their dissent, their dissatisfaction with stuff. They can't take placards and go on the street and say what really going on. Well, you know, people ask you to speak up these days, and then they tell you you're airing dirty linen in public. So you're confused. 1 minute you want people to speak up and speak out, communicate, but don't say this and don't say that. But how you could say this, and this should be between me and you. So we really have to make our minds what we want. But as a society, we really have to re-examine how we treat with these officers, how we treat with these members of the protective services. We're going to a break soon, a drinks break, and for the last final hour, we will zero in on an aspect of crime, but we will segue into something a little different for the last hour. The last hour we'll get into a little different discussion, and I want to hear from you and the members of the pavilion. What do you think and what your opinions are concerning this particular aspect of crime? Because when we talk about crime, and when we were talking about crime yesterday, we focused heavily on violent crime, on blue-collar crime. We focus heavily on things with guns and arms and things that we can see. But there are other types of crimes being committed in this country that may have much more lethal effect on us, on our children, on our pockets, on the future. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about white-collar crime. White-collar crime. Do you think as a society we have done enough? I don't want to say AKA corruption, because that corruption argument goes nowhere and we try to shy away from it and we're very dismissive of it. But have we done enough as a society? Or are we real? Are we honest about white-collar crime in Trinidad and Tobago? Are we honest about it? Or does it just disappear? And matters like that, millions of dollars just disappear. Somebody get fired, company closed down, that is the end of it, which allows the matter to rest. Are we serious about white-collar crime in Trinidad and Tobago? We're going for some drinks because we have some bills to pay. And therefore, see you after the drinks break on Street 91.9 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Whoever said Messi was a bad thing totally missed the point. Take that hit song everyone loves now. It probably started like this. Baby, calm down. That's why KFC is celebrating the messy moments with our Messy Cruncher and Messy Zinger sandwiches for only $34.95. Imagine a crunchy, golden brown, flavorful chicken sandwich sauced to perfection with our signature sweet, spicy, tangy sauces. Oh boy. So crunch into the deliciously messy moments today. Check socials for details. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean HUT, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get 1 large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with 2 large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering. Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean HUT, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get 1 large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with 2 large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway?
Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
So line up, link up, creep up, rock and come in. It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Reggae Rock Sundays on the Street 919 FM with yours truly, MC Duke and Selector Kochi on the ones and twos. So make it a date and don't be late. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on the Street 919 FM. Got 'em our way, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Often enough, our discussion on crime is quite biased and spitefully so, and leaned towards issues dealing with violent crime, home invasion, shooting, killing, rapes, murders, etc., etc. But there's another type of crime that is just as prevalent but goes undetected. Yes, the perpetrators of this type of crime, they dress differently. They look differently. They talk differently. They don't threaten you, threaten to take your life. Some of them actually promised you very good things, very nice things, very nice approach, very well polished and polite and well intended. Yet, year after year, month after month, project after project, we hear about millions of dollars either being written off, absorbed. We have to go retrieve it, but that will take 20-something years to do. Some deal that we made with some entity or some country has gone bottoms up, and we a couple $1 million in the red. Out of the two, we're talking about violent crime and white collar crime. Which do you feel has a more telling effect on society? And tell me why you think so. Tell me why you think so. Remember that there are serious consequences of economic mishaps and mismanagement, and spitefully so. Remember, this type of crime might be hard to detect. You may need forensic accountants, different types of evidence. But make no mistake, millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars can easily go missing. And then you hear, oops, we didn't know, and we didn't know. And what they really mean is you didn't know. 4665391 3420081 3420081 4665391. Tell me, white collar crime or violent crime? Which, in your opinion, has had or will have a more telling effect? Because remember, when money goes missing, it means that there's a lack of provision of other essential services. We have a caller. Caller, good evening.
Yes, brother, white collar crime. That is something that I do not believe that we are serious about at all in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, for instance, when, especially in the realm of politics, right, when politicians come forward and make all these allegations, we don't see the interest of the police or the effort of the police looking to get that same information that convinces our politicians that the people that they now taking over from was involved in corruption. We don't see that activity from the police. Is always some political will have to take precedence, and sometimes we take the matter into civil court, and there's never no criminal things coming out in most of the cases, right? So we're really not serious, because in all the allegations that were made about between 2010 and 2015, Trinidad didn't really get no redress. And now the fresh allegations that are being made now, we haven't seen no heightened attention or efforts from the police to look at these matters, right? Is the fraud squad on top of all of these allegations that are now in the public domain? Are they trying to get their hands on the information and turn it into evidence? We don't see that. So I really don't believe that we are serious. And with the lack of effort from the police into this, I believe that that is one of the reasons why we continue along the path that we are on here in Trinidad and Tobago. But if it is we really truly address crime in a holistic manner, then all this white collar crime will be included, and it needs the same type of effort that the police have been putting out as it relates to how they operate with traffic offences. We really don't see that kind of effort coming from the police. Yes, I understand it. It would be probably harder, for want of a better word, because they have to dig and find, and some people will be trying to cover up their tracks and all these things. But you have to be on people's heels. You understand? But we don't see that. So that is my contribution in that regard.
Okay, caller. Thank you. Every 5 years we keep hearing somebody go make a jail. But I've said here publicly in Trinidad and Tobago that there are no rich people in jail. There are no wealthy people in jail. If you know better, correct me. I stand corrected. I can learn from the pavilion. I'm open to learn. But the caller is right. How we've treated white collar crime and issues that affect generations, you know. We seem not to appreciate that when money goes missing and a project just closed down, it's easy to close down the entities and send everybody home. It's easy to do that. But effects of those decisions are for generations, especially when it comes to wealth. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Ronaldo. I hope you're well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you loud and clear?
So, two contributions to make. Firstly, with regards to the question that was sort of discussed in the last hour about the TTPS and the effectiveness. Since I've been a little child, I mean, you and I are similar age. Since I've been a little child, I've been hearing the TTPS bemoaning lack of infrastructure, lack of vehicles, lack of suitable buildings, lack of equipment, etc. And while these things are important, to me, the biggest issue that speaks to the ineffectiveness in the fight against crime is a lack of scrutiny in terms of TTPS processes and systems. So there's never been, in my mind, a root and branch systemic investigation into the way the TTPS is set up to fight crime in the 21st century. And until we've delved into those issues, we can change the people at the top. We can increase pay by 4-5%. We can give an additional 100 vehicles. We would still be in the same position. Was that received?
Yes, loud and clear, my friend. Well received. Make your other point.
The second point about the white-collar crime vis-a-vis violent blue-collar crime, there's a symbiotic relationship between the two.
Yes.
If you are a ghetto youth living in, say, St. Paul Street, a stone's throw away from the seat of parliament, so the seat of government, the parliament, the Red House, and you are seeing and hearing people repeatedly getting away with multi-million-dollar fraud, then you can easily convince yourself that it's no dramas for you to go and rob someone $1,000-$2,000. So that's until we start having a two-pronged zero tolerance approach on crime and all forms of crime, we will end up still again being in the same position. So those are my two contributions for this evening's topic.
Well received. Well received, my friend. And the caller there made a very, very interesting remark, not separating the blue and the white color, but actually saying that they're related. That really and truly, while we look and the papers is replete with examples of violent crime, some of the antecedents, some of the fertilizer for some of these acts and heinous and brazen acts as we see can be in fact how we treat with white collar crime and the rationalizing of it. Maybe we do present a very handsome and attractive case for those whose strength may not be with their brain but with arms. Because if I have noticed that armed criminals or unarmed criminals are getting away because of whatever law they're hiding behind, then why not try it? Try a home invasion, try a robbery. Nothing happens. Now, to be honest, the two perpetrators are not as lucky, huh? And that's what my friend, he didn't go on to say. But the two perpetrators are not as lucky. You may be the suit and tie, the jacket trick. You might quicker escape Again, for me, there's a social class thing with that. If you're up there, but definitely when it's violent blue-collar crime and you're down there, you don't escape. So tell me, do you see the correlation between the blue and the white? Do you feel, what do you feel is more prevalent in your view? What has been affecting us the most? But we maybe don't see it. We maybe don't see how many programs and social programs and how many children or parents or mothers are disadvantaged by those millions going missing in some company. Nobody explains that to us. But economics is the managing and allocation of resources. So in times of scarce resources, it is obvious that these things affect other people, other members of society. The pavilion, have your say, 342-0081, 4665391. Again, 342-0081, 4665391. White collar crime. Is it something we put a sweet eye to? Somebody turns their face, block them out. We look at it and we turn away. It's easier to talk about who shoot who and who stab who and who kill who. But millions, sometimes hundreds of thousands, go up in smoke to be retrieved after years. Caller, good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller. Okay, the caller has gone. Call back again if you wish. Because we really have to be balanced in our discussions. Huh? We really have to be balanced, and I don't want a particular demographic to feel they alone have been shouldering the crime responsibility. It may be painted to that like us. It may be portrayed, but in this sweet TNT that we live in, we know there have been enough examples in my time and obviously the time before me and maybe in the time to come as well, of issues out of white collar crime that has been swept under the carpet and swept away with the carpet over a number of years. The detection of this type of crime is different. The prosecution is different. Everything about this type of crime is different. Yet it has the potential to affect families upon families, generations upon generations. Because you're talking about the disappearance of material resources. Mr. President, good afternoon again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, here again. Good afternoon again, President. I'm smiling because it's so linked. It's so linked the last hour program that white collar crime now though versus violent crime, which they call it blue crime. Get that word they just know. And the coalition, or you could put it versus. But the police and the politicians have a lot to do with that, in the sense that that's why the police come in the center too, because according to what he do and what he do, in helping to or encouraging what he does mark up on his card to serve, protect and serve, that does bring a sort of a as something, it's helping in a sort of coalition now with the white and the blue, because we understand who's the white, you know. I say, Massa, I would never move from the wood. I school to Kinty. I would never move from the wood. Because I know where we live in. And as long as the topic come up that I am not being satisfied in an existence where they put me, I would never move from the word Massa. And I would never move from the word they call the house slave, who is the ones and them who Massa put to control his colony. We still is that. So, the white collar man who getting all the money, who taking on it, we just had one day going with about so and so money and he ain't treat we country go. We did like him, you know. We like him for 10 years. But around the last 2, 3, 4 days in the 10 years, we get rid of that because we see what that was. We saw it, that's why we get rid of him. But the white collar crime is Massa. So I can't, even the violent blue collar crime, he acting because he's facing a thing in the system. From small to big, he's facing a thing in the system. Aside from 2 little bacchanal where a man and a woman might get away, and that family next door there and that family next door there, they're different things. And still it has come down to lack of honesty, lack of discipline, lack of plenty of that way. It's so, the indiscipline is so striving in the system. In a system where Massa bring, where the white collar man create. So, on the end of it, that is what it's ending up to. And then the politician again, who is the house slave now to the Massa. That's what we're facing. And I think nobody could talk anything different than that. They go color it up, they go sweeten it up. Them educational people who, they have the little, they getting the privilege over the poor man who don't have an education. But who could tell me that the rich, the educated big poor man like the uneducated poor man? Yeah, saying rich, educated poor. Yeah, because Massa richer than he. He's just a house slave. Anyway, I'm going to go talking to him because I know what I say. They wrong. Everybody coming on some kind of conversation wrong that because it is the truth. I believe that they well and
okay, Prez. Okay, Prez, I hear you. We follow you. I wonder what it is about the blue collar crime that attracts us. How come we don't try the white collar crime? We don't want any type of crime, but why is crime also sometimes synonymous with an ethnic group and at the same time also synonymous with a social group, a socio-economic group, a class group? Why? It isn't that we both don't do different types of crime, but somehow certain types of crime are associated with a certain socio-economic group and a certain ethnic group and a certain members of the population. On the other hand, the white collar crime seems to be reserved exclusively for another group that normally, not all the time because we're not making laws here, belong to a different social class and a different upbringing, who say, nah, I don't like blue color, I will choose white. I choosing white. Make more sense. Why is that? Why is that? Do we understand and appreciate the effects of the economic effects on generations of citizens, of families, when social resources or provision of social services are cut and curtailed? because of any particular issue. Gate is no more. The complaint was certain people advantage the gate and certain people misuse the gate. So you stop gate. But now that you've stopped the gate, which group or groups suffer? So in reference to crime and white collar crime, what has been our experience over the years in really seriously following up as maybe the Exchange Security and Exchange Commission, Bureau of Standards, Customs and Exercise, how come blue collar crime seems to be somehow easier, more attractive? Is it that we like quick fix? So we're not attracted to the sometimes very sophisticated nature of white collar crime? It do appeal to us. Is it because it don't have any fireworks and we like fireworks? You members of the pavilion, you call me and tell me how you feel about this white collar crime problem in Trinidad and Tobago. Has it been sufficiently addressed? Why not? Why are we pretending that it don't exist? Why everybody afraid to talk about it? When you start talking about that, they'll say, well, you are court closed. Don't say that. Say it was misappropriated. Don't say the word thief. Don't do these things. It was misappropriated. It was miscalculated. There's a financial recording error. Nice terms. It was over budgeted. Mr. President, again.
I feel the real question is how to deal with them. As a matter of fact, because as the blue man, he had the finance, he had the vehicle, and he had the authorities to reach up there. If he could reach up there, he could reach up there. Maybe it has some feel they could reach up there by doing blue collar crime. But the truth is, and the real question is, how to deal with the white and them who are, they could be black too, you know, but they just up the massas now. How to deal with massa now? How ready to deal with massa? After them are all the bomb, they are the gun, they are everything to subdue you. So you in a country there, living that life just like the police who were asking who we would like them to get something nice too, although the streets some are wee bad, but they can't get what they want to get just as how some of we can't get what we want. How to deal with that matter of the, I can laugh on that, I end with that. That is the real question. How to really deal with them. I have some solution, you know, but I hope we know and to take it on when it's time that we see it. But how to deal with them. I'll leave you with it.
Thank you, Prezi. Thank you for your contribution. Members of the pavilion, 3420081 4665 What it is about us and white collar crime, we rather the blue. I will take my chances with this little gun here and the Chinese grocery. I will change. I will take my chances with that. You see that long plan you come up with, that long scheme? We have to do this, write that, move that, sign up that. Too long. I want faster turnover for my criminal activities. Why have we not paid sufficient attention to white collar crime? Why? Caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. I was just calling again. When I hear politicians talk about jail for this one and jail for that one, I don't take it serious. I don't take them seriously. In fact, I throw that in the dustbin. The thing about it is that the police, under the police service, under the police act, they're responsible for investigation, arrest, and charge. No politician could arrest, could charge, or have the responsibility to investigate any criminal matter or any matter at all. They don't have any. They can't arrest. Apart from a citizen arrest, in certain circumstances, but they can't charge nobody. So that nonsense all over the place about we go lock up this one and we go lock up, that is just playing with the minds of the unsuspecting. And the question about that disparity in terms of how you deal with white collar and blue collar crime, the fact remains is that you have a parallel system, a parallel legal system here. That's what you have. And one for the one is for the poor, right? And the other one is for the rich. And once you have money, as in terms of those who commit blue collar crime, white collar crime, they can hire the best lawyers. They can have Queen's Counsel coming from England, coming from whatever. The poor man can't. He can't even afford a lawyer. He can't even retain a lawyer. So that is the disparity. And again, what happening to is that the police service, again, that's another problem. They seem not to have the wherewithal in terms of investigating matters. You have to bring down this man the last time from Canada, Lewinsky or wherever his name was, Lindquist, Bob Lindquist, and all these people to come, other people to come and investigate, do forensic and all that. The police today, they seem unable to carry out or successfully investigate white collar crime. I don't know whether it is deliberate or probably, I don't know. I don't want to cast any aspersion. But it seems to me that they don't have the wherewithal, and therefore you have to depend on foreign investigators to conduct those investigations. You saw it with the DSS. I don't know how real it was, but the Prime Minister said he had to go to England, he bring down some policemen, he couldn't go to Barbados and all. So that would be an indictment on terms of the capacity and capability of the police, the local police, to conduct such inquiries. So we're in a bad state. And I don't know to what extent also that the police, some of them, are aligned with the politicians. I don't know. So this is my understanding. That's how I perceive the matter. And thank you again for listening to me.
Thank you, caller. You all members of the pavilion, we appreciate you. So Colleen, tell me about this white collar thing. How come that we just get a join? How come we don't get a join in our club? Our club exclusive. You have to qualify to participate in white collar crime. Oh, we don't get, a lot of us don't get to be part of that. Or is it that we're not interested, we ain't get picked? So we doomed to blue collar crime all our lives? Interesting. We can't make that team. We have the white team and the blue team. We can't make the white team. Is that what we're saying? Call us 3420081 4665391. How come this discussion on white collar crime is only a certain names you hear in that discussion? As the caller say, yeah, big lawyers involved. Big discussion. They don't include us. They don't consider us. Or are we too morally upright? Maybe. I mean, we choose the blue. But is it that we rather the risk in being gunned down as opposed to in being audited? Have your say, Pavilion. Call. Tell me what you think. Why is this white collar crime discussion so much a taboo? And why is it most times it end up one way, if we're honest? It does only end up one way. Very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. When you look at the names over the years, and this analysis can be cross government, cross match players, whether they be bowlers or batsmen. That would tie a string around everybody and maybe provide a nexus between all groups of people that we have talked about this afternoon. Maybe. President, again. Okay, sir.
Some examples. Mandela and the apartheid system. Ibrahim Traore and Trump. Some things that we might look at it that we own small thing here. So the blue collar man, he could get education. When he get education, he come a Oreo. He come a same house slave. Yeah, we could go up enough. I remember my brother from America, the Obama. They put in Obama. He make a two term there. Who take over? Oh, it's the same person who had chosen Ibrahim Traore. Oh, yeah, but he get big and big, you know. But we know he was still, don't call that big fella that word, man. Because slave is not a nice word to talk to him, because he too big for that. But under the massa who put down the system, he ain't no different to me. Let me look. When you look at it real deep, I tell you it's Kunto Kinte. And I'm watching how depth that Kunto Kinte was and where I am now. I still Kunto Kinte. Alive, boys, Kunto Kinte. All right. We have to look deep and see where's the truth. The truth is what we have to face. If we don't face the truth, we could always be in that door. You see, we say we're not slaves, okay, we know that. We're human beings. But if you watch the system put it and look and see where you are, then that is when you go come out and you acknowledge it. But if we don't acknowledge it, we will stay there. And the only thing I see, which ain't so looking so good is revolution. And that talk you can't talk in a society where the person who you revolution have bombs and guns even. And that is the position we are in, brother. I'm on it again.
Thank you again, Prezi. Thank you again, and listening attentively to the contributions of the pavilion on this matter. Quite a sensitive topic. A topic some of us shy away from. We rather put our heads in the sand. It doesn't happen. It's not happening. I ain't no That state of anomie, we don't even have an opinion on it, and it's strange. It's strange we don't even have an opinion in it, because maybe if we did a cost-benefit analysis, we would come to a different decision. Maybe. But we've always been plagued by some major scandal, some major decision that has not been unwise, but the effects of that decision we have felt on the ground for generations, based on the decision of an individuals, or just a couple of individuals who've decided that they are bright enough to misappropriate. You just mischeck a couple millions. We didn't mean nothing by it. It's not like we stole it, we just didn't check it properly. What has been the effect of that on a lot of things we've missed out on as a country? A lot of things we've not been able to do, or we've not been able to provide, because therefore money becomes scarce. The money we thought it had, it doesn't have. What about us and this white collar crime? We're willing to stay hush, we're willing to ignore it. We're willing to say, well, that ain't my business, you know. Whatever he do, he do. Is that true? This discussion on white collar crime versus blue collar crime calls for some self-introspection. Calls for some self-analysis. Among you members of the pavilion, among us, the umpires. Prezi, if I answer that phone again, they'll say you're controlling the show. If I answer that phone again. I'm just trying to give somebody else a chance, Prezi. I don't mean anything by it. 3420081 4665391. You, the members of the pavilion, tell me what it is about white collar crime that we can't do. What is it about white collar crime that we can't do, we can't seemingly do? And if we try it, we don't do it right. We don't get away with it. What about it? We can't master. Who refuses to let us into that club? That club where, you know, what's on the board is millions of dollars without a gun. Robbery without a gun. Theft with no violence. We may call it victimless crime. Is it really victimless? Is it really victimless? What are the effects on the society for generations and generations to come when we allow money that has been allocated for resources to go missing? What is the effect of that? Mr. President.
Yeah, I only have one last question because we're short in time, and the last question come out from your words, introspection. And because of that word you just bring out it, after all what we have said, the whole program this afternoon, it ended up to be one thing that we have to do. Oh God, man, come you tell.
Prezi has a dog that seems to want to get onto the program, or insist that he doesn't get onto the program in peace. But really and truly, self-introspection is right. When it comes to crime and criminal activity, we spend a lot of time talking about the blue-collar crime. It's all over the papers. It's in bold. When you see who is involved, the usual suspects, the usual people. But when it comes to white-collar crime, things are a bit different. Things are a bit different. Somehow we don't make that team. That team must be smaller, more exclusive. Sometimes you don't even know when the thing going down. That team don't talk. I don't know where they meet. If you know, tell me. Where they sit to conspire to cut off millions, hundreds of thousands. Where those discussions take place. Government after government has promised to take assertive action and lock up politicians and lock up. We hear that, and we, the pavilion, must not be divided and nor sensationalized by these charismatic leaders who, just short of preaching, say nice things to us. What we want to hear, knowing that we want action. Based on what we hear. But that too goes away. It doesn't last. It doesn't last at all. Why are we so afraid to speak up? And who chooses who gets involved in crime? We always, most times, we're on the blue team. If we're on the white team, we're on the B side or C side. Small money involved. Very loud. Easily caught. But the real sophisticated shakers and movers of that other economy, they don't let us in the door. They don't let us in the door even when it's criminal activity and crime. Things are very different. Things are still segregated, for want of a better word, in 2025. And I wanted to end on that tenor because, you know, traditionally, we seem to always be easier to examine and willing to discuss aspects of blue-collar crime, aspects of violent crime, as reported in the newspaper, on the news, that sometimes appeals to a particular demographic in a particular way. But why color crime? We ignore that, and them always that, eh? You have proof. You know he did that. He have a lawyer. And we make excuses. Because maybe mentally we want the matter to go away. We want the matter to disappear. But it doesn't, because the economist will tell you, when you have to manage scarcity of resources, one affects the other. So this is going to be our last little calling segment. You members of the pavilion, 4665391 3420081 for today. This is going to be our last little calling couple minutes. You know, have your final say as members of the pavilion on how Trinidad and Tobago has been dealing with, in your view, with white collar crime. Or have we been dealing with it at all? Have we been pressing the ignore button? Have we been turning our backs, pretending it didn't happen? Have we not understood the amount of job losses that come as a direct result of some of these activities? Have we not seen that we are the most vulnerable at the end of the day? And I'm talking about we, the social class, we. Not ethnic, but social. Have we not seen that we stand to lose the most? We stand to lose the most from this type of crime and these particular criminal acts. So tomorrow we're going to go into aspects of education. We're going to discuss some aspects of education, and I know the other umpires will be here. They're not here due to unforeseen circumstances, and some are actively engaged in matters of the state. But I know today we took a little more reflective approach, a more structured approach in terms of our discussion, provoking you to ask yourself particular questions that we want you to answer to yourself. You don't need to answer those questions to us. So, on behalf of the third umpires, I want to thank you, the pavilion, and our online listeners for sending me your views, your texts, text to my phone. Callers, the usual, President, the crew. Thanks for participating in today's program. Hope to hear from you tomorrow. Remember, the pavilion, you all are important to the third umpires. You are the reason we do what we do, why we do. Have a good evening.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.